Hey there, my friend. Ever find yourself staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., dreading that inevitable trip to the bathroom? You're not alone. It's a frustrating part of getting older for so many of us. But what if I told you a simple, everyday habit might be the real culprit? Let's talk about it. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and drop your city in the comments. I'd love to give you a shout-out. All right, let's get right into it. Dr. Henry, a brilliant mind I truly respect, often highlights how our daily choices directly shape our journey toward longevity. He warns that for men, especially as we cross that 60-year milestone, some seemingly innocent habits are quietly working against our well-being. It's a silent battle being waged inside our own bodies, and sadly many of us are unknowingly fueling the very issues that disrupt our peace and happiness. It's time we brought these hidden enemies into the light, don't you think? It's a story he sees play out every day. Men arrive feeling utterly defeated, their lives dictated by the constant, urgent need to find a restroom. The pain, the frustration, the loss of independence. It's a heavy burden to carry. This isn't just about minor discomfort, it's about a drastic hit to your quality of life. And the tragic part? It often stems from years of ignoring the subtle whispers from our own bodies, those little warnings that something isn't quite right. But here's the flip side, the part that gives us all hope. Dr. Henry also sees men in their 80s and even 90s who are the picture of vitality. They live without that nagging shadow, enjoying a life of freedom and comfort. Their secret isn't some miracle pill or superior genetics. The real difference, the line between suffering and thriving, is found in the small, consistent, healthy habits they've cultivated over the years. It's about making conscious choices for better, healthy aging. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the 10 most common and dangerous habits that could be wreaking havoc on your prostate. We're going to count them down, and I promise you, the number one habit at the end of this list is so deeply ingrained in our culture, you might be doing it this very second without a clue. It's a real eye-opener that's crucial for maintaining your long-term health and independence. Let's start our countdown with habit number 10, one that sounds completely backward at first, but is devastatingly common. Drinking too little water. It seems logical, right? If you're getting up all night to go to the bathroom, the simple fix must be to drink less. Many seniors drastically cut back on liquids, especially in the evening, thinking they're solving the problem. It's an honest mistake, but one that seriously backfires and undermines your well-being. The reality is, our urinary system is far more complex than a simple in and out pipe. When you deprive your body of adequate hydration, the urine it produces becomes incredibly concentrated. Think of it, less like clear water, and more like a dense, chemical-heavy fluid loaded with waste products like ammonia. This concentrated mixture becomes a harsh irritant to the delicate lining of your bladder, a constant source of aggravation that your body has to endure. Now let's remember a little bit of basic anatomy. The prostate sits right at the base of the bladder, hugging the urethra. When the bladder is chronically irritated and inflamed by that potent, concentrated urine, the inflammation doesn't just stay put. It spreads like a wildfire to neighboring tissues, and the prostate is the first and most direct victim. This ongoing irritation is a primary driver of inflammation, which is the engine of prostate growth. An inflamed tissue is a swollen tissue. This is why a commitment to proper hydration is one of the most fundamental healthy habits you can adopt for your longevity. It's not about chugging gallons at once, which can overwhelm the bladder. The key is consistent, small sips throughout the day. Keep a water bottle handy. Make it a ritual to drink a glass upon waking and another between meals. Don't wait until you're thirsty. Thirst is already a sign that dehydration has begun, a signal that your body is struggling. The solution is elegant in its simplicity. Use the color of your urine as your personal hydration gauge. It should be a pale, straw-like yellow. If it's dark and has a strong odor, that's a distress signal from your body pleading for water. Don't fear the water. It is your most powerful and natural ally in the fight for a healthy prostate and a better quality of life. Embracing this simple form of self-care is a massive step toward greater happiness and independence in your later years. Coming in at number 9 is what I call the tyranny of the chair. I get it. As the years go by, that favorite armchair becomes a sanctuary, a cozy refuge. But spending hour after hour chained to a seat, whether it's watching TV, reading, or working at a desk, could be exerting a destructive and constant pressure on your prostate. This is an enemy that attacks through stillness, undermining the very exercise and movement your body needs for healthy aging. To truly grasp this, I've gathered some fantastic practical advice in our ebook, Wellness and Aging: Valuable Tips for Seniors. It's packed with simple strategies to enhance your nutrition, sleep, and overall health, helping you maintain that active mind and body we all strive for. You can find the link in the first pinned comment below. It's a wonderful resource for anyone serious about their well-being. When you remain seated for long stretches, you're putting direct physical pressure on your pelvic region. This pressure compresses the vital blood vessels that supply the prostate with oxygen-rich blood and essential nutrients. Imagine stepping on a garden hose. The flow reduces to a trickle. The exact same thing happens to the circulation in your pelvic area. This reduced blood flow deprives prostate cells of the oxygen they desperately need to function and repair themselves, creating the perfect conditions for inflammation. Think of it this way: a poorly oxygenated tissue is a weakened tissue, vulnerable to problems. This constant pressure is a direct invitation for inflammation and consequently prostate growth. Studies have clearly shown that men with sedentary lifestyles have a significantly higher risk of developing prostate issues and severe urinary symptoms. It's a clear link between a lack of simple exercise and a decline in this specific area of men's health. I hope you're finding this useful so far. If any of this is hitting home, do me a favor and hit that like button. It really helps us reach more seniors who need to hear this message. The damage doesn't stop with poor circulation either. Immobility also weakens a crucial and often overlooked group of muscles, the pelvic floor. These muscles act like a supportive hammock for your bladder and prostate. When they're strong and toned, they help you control urine flow and ensure a complete, efficient emptying of the bladder. A sedentary lifestyle turns them flaccid and inactive, compromising your control and well-being. A weak pelvic floor makes it incredibly difficult to perform that final contraction needed to expel the last drops of urine. This leads to that annoying post-void dribble and, more importantly, to incomplete emptying. That leftover urine, just sitting there in the bladder, becomes a stagnant pool, a perfect breeding ground for bacteria and a chronic irritant, which just keeps that vicious cycle of prostate inflammation going. This is a direct threat to your independence and comfort. The solution isn't to give up your well-deserved rest, but to embrace intermittent movement. I want you to try the 30 for 2 rule. For every 30 minutes you spend sitting, get up and move for at least 2 minutes. It doesn't have to be strenuous exercise. Just walk to the kitchen for a glass of that water you now know is so important. Do a few simple leg stretches. This simple act of breaking the sedentary cycle reactivates circulation and keeps those vital muscles engaged. Let's move on to habit number 8, the caffeine overload. That morning cup of coffee with its robust aroma and promise of energy is a sacred ritual for so many of us. And look, 1 cup in the morning for most people isn't a major issue. The danger, as with so many things in life, lies in the dose and the frequency. Overdoing it with coffee, black teas, colas, or energy drinks can seriously irritate your urinary system and worsen symptoms you might already be experiencing. Caffeine has 2 main effects that are particularly troublesome for a man with a sensitive prostate. First, it's a natural diuretic. This means it signals your kidneys to produce more urine and faster. For a healthy system, that's no big deal. But if your prostate is already enlarged and partially obstructing, the exit, this sudden surge of urine, overloads a bladder that's already struggling to empty, increasing internal pressure and that awful sense of urgency. Even more importantly, perhaps, is that caffeine is a known bladder irritant. It acts directly on the bladder's muscle wall, causing it to contract more forcefully and frequently. This translates directly into that demanding feeling of urgency, the need to run to the bathroom immediately. For a man with an enlarged prostate, these erratic contractions are a constant source of discomfort and a significant blow to his day-to-day quality of life. The assault doesn't stop at the bladder. Caffeine also has a constricting effect on the smooth muscles at the neck of the bladder, that strategic area where the bladder joins the urethra. By tightening these muscles, it narrows the exit door for urine even further, making a complete emptying more difficult. It's a devastating, vicious cycle. The bladder fills up faster, but it has a harder time emptying, leaving more residual urine behind to fuel more inflammation. I'm not asking you to declare all-out war on coffee. Moderation is the winning strategy here. Pay attention to your body. If you notice a significant increase in urinary frequency or urgency after your second or third cup of the day, that's an unmistakable signal. Try a simple experiment. Replace that second cup with a caffeine-free alternative, like a soothing chamomile tea or a good quality decaf coffee. These small tweaks can make a surprisingly big difference in your comfort and long-term health. Now for habit number 7, overdoing it on spicy and processed foods. Look, I love a good meal as much as the next guy, but some intense flavors and the convenience of modern food can be taking a silent toll on your prostate. An excess of fiery spices can act as an irritant not just in your mouth, but all the way through your system. For a man with an already sensitive and inflamed prostate, this extra inflammatory push can be the straw that breaks the camel's back. However, the real villain in this category, the public enemy number 1 for your health, is ultra-processed food. We're talking about chips, processed meats like salami and hot dogs, frozen microwave meals, and fast food in general. These aren't real food. They are chemical cocktails designed to be addictive, but are nutritionally empty and profoundly pro-inflammatory. This type of nutrition is the polar opposite of what we need for healthy aging. These products are loaded with preservatives, artificial colors, industrial amounts of sodium, and most concerningly, poor quality fats like trans fats and refined vegetable oils. These components damage your health at a cellular level. Excess sodium, for instance, not only raises blood pressure, but also causes fluid retention, putting extra pressure on your entire circulatory and urinary system. It's a direct assault on your well-being. The bad fats and chemical additives can also disrupt your body's delicate hormonal balance. Specifically, they can interfere with testosterone levels and, more importantly, with the enzyme that converts testosterone into DHT, the primary hormone driving the growth of prostate tissue. If your pantry is filled more with boxes and packages than fresh ingredients, it's time for a change. Your pursuit of longevity and happiness depends on better nutrition. It's time to take a moment and reflect. Is any of this resonating with you? If you're getting some value here, let me know in the comments what habit you're thinking about changing first. I read every single one. Let's dive into habit number 6, holding it in. We've all been there. You're in the middle of an important meeting, stuck in traffic or absorbed in a movie, and nature calls. The easy thing to do is ignore it, put it off, and just hold on a little longer. But turning this occasional act into a regular habit is a form of self-sabotage that seriously damages your bladder and, by direct consequence, your prostate. It's a bad habit that actively works against your health. To understand the damage, picture your bladder as an elastic muscular balloon. Its job is to fill up gradually and then contract to efficiently expel urine. When you consciously hold it for too long, you're forcing this muscle to stretch beyond its comfortable, safe capacity. This chronic overstretching weakens the muscle fibers in the bladder wall, much like an elastic band loses its snap if it's stretched to its limit repeatedly. A weakened bladder loses its ability to contract forcefully. This leads us right back to that dreaded problem of residual urine. But the mechanical damage is only part of the story. A full, overstretched bladder also exerts direct physical pressure on the prostate, which, as we know, sits right underneath it. This constant compression causes irritation and swelling in the prostate tissue. For seniors, whose muscle control may already be compromised. By age, this practice is especially harmful to their well-being. Furthermore, that stagnant urine left in the bladder after an incomplete emptying is a lurking danger. It's a warm, nutrient-rich environment, the perfect place for bacteria to multiply, leading to urinary tract infections. A bladder infection can easily migrate to the prostate, causing painful conditions that require immediate medical attention and can fuel the long-term cycle of inflammation and enlargement, threatening your independence and quality of life. To protect your health, you must cultivate a new habit. Listen to and obey your body's signals. Don't postpone that trip to the bathroom. As soon as you feel that first clear need to urinate, find a restroom. This is especially crucial if you're already experiencing symptoms like getting up at night. Responding to your body's needs is one of the simplest and most effective defensive strategies you have at your disposal for maintaining your happiness and comfort. We're at the halfway point, so let's tackle habit number 5, smoking or being a passive smoker. It's no secret that cigarettes are devastating for lung and cardiovascular health, but their negative impact extends to every corner of the body, and the prostate is particularly vulnerable to their thousands of toxins. Smoking is, without a doubt, one of the worst habits a man can have for the health of his prostate and his overall longevity. Even if you don't smoke yourself, regular and prolonged exposure to secondhand smoke also puts you at significant risk. Tobacco smoke contains over 7,000 chemicals, many of which are toxic, and at least 70 of which are known carcinogens. Substances like cadmium, a heavy metal found in high concentrations in cigarettes, have been directly linked to an increased risk of prostate problems, including prostate cancer. It's a direct threat to your healthy aging journey. The primary mechanism of damage is through the circulatory system. Nicotine and carbon monoxide are potent vasoconstrictors, meaning they narrow blood vessels throughout the body. This includes the delicate arteries that supply blood to the prostate. Reduced circulation means less oxygen, fewer nutrients, and slower removal of metabolic waste products from the prostate tissue. This creates a chronic pro-inflammatory environment, the perfect breeding ground for prostate growth. On top of that, smoking unleashes a storm of oxidative stress in the body. You can think of this process as accelerated cellular aging. Unstable molecules called free radicals, generated in massive quantities by tobacco smoke, attack and damage healthy cells, including their DNA. This accumulated oxidative damage in the prostate leads to persistent inflammation, glandular enlargement, and in the worst-case scenario, cellular mutations that can lead to cancer. If you still smoke, the most powerful decision you can make for your prostate and your overall health is to get help to quit. Talk to your doctor. The benefits begin almost immediately. Within weeks of quitting, circulation improves, inflammation levels start to decrease, and your prostate gets a chance to begin healing. If you've never smoked, congratulations. Now your mission is to protect yourself from secondhand smoke. This simple choice can grant you years of better prostate health and quality of life. Now for habit number 4, and this one is about our mindset, skipping medical checkups. In our culture, we often applaud the tough guy who never complains and only goes to the doctor when the pain is absolutely unbearable. But this stoic approach to health is actually a dangerous and self-destructive one, especially when it comes to the prostate after the age of 60. Taking care of your health is a sign of strength, not weakness. Prostate enlargement is an insidious process. It can progress silently for years without causing obvious symptoms in its early stages. By the time symptoms finally appear, the problem can already be quite advanced. Regular urological checkups are your early detection system, your radar for identifying problems long before they become a crisis. This is a cornerstone of proactive, healthy aging and maintaining your long-term well-being and independence. Dr. Henry often shares the story of a patient. Let's call him Charles, a strong, active 65-year-old who boasted about never needing doctors. For him, getting up once or twice a night was just part of getting older. He ignored the gradual decrease in his urine stream and the feeling of incomplete emptying. He was embarrassed to talk about it. He didn't come in willingly. His worried wife practically dragged him to the clinic. When Dr. Henry finally examined him, Charles wasn't dealing with a minor annoyance. He was suffering from acute urinary retention, an incredibly painful condition where the bladder is at its bursting point, but the urethra is so compressed by the prostate that it's impossible to urinate. It was a medical emergency. A simple blood test and rectal exam years earlier could have detected the problem when it was easily manageable with lifestyle changes. His story is a powerful reminder. Prevention isn't just an option, it's an absolute necessity. Exams like the digital rectal exam and the PSA blood test are quick, simple, and can save your life, or at the very least, save your quality of life. Delaying appointments out of fear or embarrassment means losing the valuable opportunity to act preventively. The sooner an issue is detected, the wider the range of natural and less invasive treatments are available. Don't wait for symptoms to dictate your life. Let's move to habit number 3, excessive consumption of red meat. A good steak on the grill is a culinary pleasure for many. However, if red meat becomes the star of your plate day after day, you could be silently feeding the growth of your prostate. Multiple scientific studies have established a clear link between a high intake of red and processed meats and an increase in inflammation markers throughout the body, a major blow to your health. The main culprits are saturated fats and chemical compounds generated during processing and high-temperature cooking. Red meat is rich in a type of omega-6 fat that the body uses to produce potent mediators of inflammation. When consumed in excess, it tips the balance toward a chronic pro-inflammatory state. Furthermore, when meat is cooked at high temperatures, grilled, fried, or well done, potentially harmful compounds are formed that increase oxidative stress. In seniors whose digestive systems often slow down, red meat can be harder to digest and may contribute to digestive issues and increased pressure in the pelvic area. You don't need to become a vegetarian overnight. The key, once again, is moderation and smart substitution. This is about smart nutrition for longevity. Try cutting back your red meat consumption to once or twice a week at most. Instead, enrich your diet with leaner anti-inflammatory protein sources. Fish, especially fatty fish like salmon, is an excellent choice due to its high content of inflammation-fighting omega-3s. Grilled or baked chicken and turkey are also good alternatives. And don't underestimate the power of plant-based proteins. Incorporate more meals based on legumes like lentils, chickpeas, or black beans. These changes will not only benefit your prostate, but also your overall well-being. Let's discuss habit. Number 2. Ignoring abdominal fat. As men age, it's common for weight to accumulate around the waist, forming what's often called a beer belly. This change in body composition is not just an aesthetic issue. That abdominal fat, also known as visceral fat, is a metabolically active factory that represents a critical warning sign for your prostate health and overall quality of life. This visceral fat is not an inert mass. It's an endocrine organ that produces and releases a cascade of inflammatory chemicals. These substances circulate throughout your bloodstream, promoting a state of chronic low-grade inflammation all over your body. The prostate, being a tissue sensitive to inflammation, suffers greatly. This constant inflammation irritates the prostate tissue and directly contributes to its growth. But the hormonal assault is perhaps even more insidious. This fatty tissue is rich in an enzyme called aromatase, which converts androgens like testosterone into estrogens. In a man with excess abdominal fat, this conversion accelerates, leading to a hormonal imbalance. This altered hormonal profile has been directly linked to promoting the growth of prostate cells. A simple exercise routine and better nutrition can make a world of difference here. Finally, we can't forget the purely mechanical factor. The mass of visceral fat exerts constant physical pressure on your pelvic organs. Imagine carrying a 10 or 20-pound weight tied to your waist 24 hours a day. That's the load pressing on your bladder, and below it your prostate. Losing even a small percentage of your body weight can translate into a noticeable relief of urinary symptoms and a huge boost to your happiness. And now, we've arrived at the number 1 most dangerous habit of all, precisely because it's the most invisible and underestimated: not managing chronic stress. When you live in a constant state of anxiety, tension, or worry, your body enters a perpetual survival mode. This fight or flight state causes a constant release of stress hormones, primarily cortisol, which over time wreak havoc on your body and your active mind. In the short term, cortisol is useful, but when its levels remain chronically elevated, it causes systemic inflammation, chronic muscle tension, and hormonal imbalances that directly affect the prostate. Stress has a direct physical effect on the pelvis, involuntarily tensing the pelvic floor muscles. This further restricts blood flow to the area and irritates the nerves surrounding the prostate, dramatically worsening symptoms and impacting your well-being. Seniors often carry an enormous weight of stress in silence: financial worries, family problems, or concerns about their own deteriorating health. It all adds up. The physical result is more frequent urination, pelvic pain, and increased prostate swelling. Managing your stress is not just about feeling better mentally, it's about healing your body from the inside out, and is perhaps the most powerful of all healthy habits. The best news is that managing stress is completely within your control. Simple habits practiced daily can dramatically reduce your stress levels, and with them, the inflammation. Try deep breathing. Incorporate light exercise like a walk in nature. Dedicate just 10 minutes a day to silence with no screens or distractions. Laughter, social connection, and quality sleep are powerful medicines for your body and your prostate. This single change can help halt prostate growth naturally. So now that you know these 10 habits, the crucial question is, what will you do starting today? This isn't about small, insignificant tweaks. It's about taking powerful steps that can prevent years of discomfort and preserve your independence. The time to act is now. Start with something small but meaningful. What's one habit you'll commit to changing this week? Let me know in the comments. Your prostate won't heal overnight, but with the right habits and consistency, your body's capacity for recovery is astounding. Remember, your health is in your hands. It's never too late to rewrite your story. If this video brought you value, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next one. We're all in this journey to longevity together.